All right, today we're going to add to what we've been working on as far as solving equations go. We're in lesson 2.4 today, and we are solving equations where the variable term will show up on each side of the equal sign, and we'll talk about how to handle that. Okay, so our equation solving process is not going to change. Okay, the first thing we're always going to do is simplify each side of the equation. So, distribute, combine any like terms. We always want to do that first so that we have it as simple as we can make it, and then we work from there to solve. Now, at this point, you'll notice whether or not there's a variable term on both sides of the equal sign. All right, so there's one on the left and one on the right. Uh, what we need to do here is eliminate one of them by adding or subtracting it from both sides. So we can't solve an equation that has a variable term on both sides. So you got to collect them to one side or basically eliminate one of them so that there's only one remaining. And then we just go about solving that. Okay, so then everything will be as is. We'll isolate the remaining variable term. We'll then make the coefficient of that variable term a one, and we'll have the equation solved. Okay, so it's going to look something like this. So here's our first example. We got 10y equals y plus 36. So the left side is just 10y. The right side has two terms, the y term and a 36. All right, so as you look at this, I have variable terms on both sides. I got a 10y on the left, I got a 1y on the right. Okay, the first thing we need to do is eliminate one of them. So what I'm going to do is just subtract y from both sides. Now remember, y is a number. It's taking the place of a number. So a number minus itself is going to be zero. All right, so that's going to be a zero there. And then this is really 10y minus 1y. So we got 9y equals 36. So now we can see we have just a variable term on the left and the numbers on the right. So the variable term, now I want to make the coefficient a 1. So I'll divide each side by a 9. And we get y is 4. And if we put 4 back up here in place of these two y's, the left side, 10 times 4 is 40. The right side, 4 plus 36 is 40. 40 equals 40. So that's the value of the variable that makes this equation true. Okay, I go over here to my next example. Okay, 5 plus 7a equals 4a minus 13. I have two terms on the left, a 5 and a 7a. I have two terms on the right, a 4a and a negative 13. So I'm ready to solve it. I can't simplify it. These two aren't like terms on the left. These two are not like terms on the right. I notice I have a term on each side, so I got to make one of them a zero. Now, it really doesn't matter which one. Okay, I could subtract 7a from both sides, or I can subtract 4a from both sides. We're going to get the same answer in the end. It's just a matter of preference. I like to keep my numbers positive, so I'm going to subtract 4a from both sides. Okay, again, 4a minus 4a, any number minus itself is going to be zero. And over here, 7a minus 4a, these are my like terms, so these two go together. That's going to give me 3a. So I got 5 plus 3a equals, and again, watch out for those signs. So this minus 13 means this is a negative 13 here. Okay, now I'm down to the two-step equations we've been working on. So the first thing I want to do is isolate my 3a. So I got to make this a zero. I make it a zero by subtracting 5 from both sides. So 5 minus 5, 0. 13 minus 5 is really, negative 13 plus negative 5. That's going to be a negative 18. And now I got to make my coefficient of my a term here become a 1. So to do that, I divide each side by 3. And my solution, a equals negative 6. Okay, so we got that little step there at the beginning where we have to eliminate one of the variable terms when I have a variable on both sides. Okay, now there's going to throw a little distribution in here, the distributive property. Again, if you look at our order of processes, our steps here in solving, the first thing I always tell you to do is to simplify each side of the equation. The left side has the distributive property, so we want to do that. I want to break this apart so I can see how many terms I have. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this 4 and distribute it through the parentheses. That'll give me 4x minus 28. The right side is negative 3x plus 7. So I have the left side is two terms, the 4x and the negative 28. They're not like terms, so I can't put them together. The right side is negative 3x plus 7. Those are not like terms. I can't put them together. So I'm ready to start solving. Okay, I have a variable term on the left, 4x, and one on the right, negative 3x. One of them I got to make a zero. So I'm going to add 3x to both sides. Negative 3x plus positive 3x, that's a 0. 4x plus 3x, that's going to give me, these are like terms. So now I put these two together. That's why I put it there. Okay, and 4x plus 3x is 7x. I still got minus 28 equals. And then after I eliminate these two, I still got a 7 over here. All right, now I'm down to a two-step equation. Isolate 7x, add 28 to both sides. Negative 28 plus 28, that's a 0. 7x is 35. Make the coefficient of x become a 1 by dividing by 7, and x is 5. Okay. Next example, now they put two distributive properties in here. Okay, one on the left, one on the right. So, basically we got to take it a piece at a time. Again, we want to simplify the left side, simplify the right side first, and before we start to try to solve things. So on the left side, I got to distribute 4 through this parentheses, right? So that's going to give me 4w minus 16. And then I still got the minus 8 there. So my left side now becomes this. My right side, I'm going to distribute that negative 6 through that parenthesis. So negative 6 times negative 4w is positive 24w. Negative 6 times positive 3 is negative 18 or minus 18. And then I still got the minus 2w there at the end. All right, so once I distribute, I look at the left side of my equation. I got three terms, 4w, negative 16, negative 8. All right, can I combine any of these terms? Well, these two are like terms. They're whole numbers. They're like. So negative 16 and negative 8, right? That'll give me 4w minus 24 because that's a negative 24 and I put those two together. So now the left side has been simplified. Look at the right side. Three terms, 24w, negative 18, negative 2w. Are any of those like terms? Well, the 24 and the negative 2 both are w terms, so they are like terms. So 24 and negative 2 will give me a 22w, and then I still got minus 18. Okay? All right. So now what we've done, we've distributed, we've simplified the left side, simplified the right side. Now I notice I got a 4w term on the left and a 22w on the right. I can't have w's on each side, so one of them I got to make a 0. And again, what I'd like to do is I like to solve left to right. So I'm going to subtract a 22w from both sides. Now you could have subtracted a 4w from both sides. You're going to get the same answer, guys. You can try it if you'd like and you'll see. So I subtract 22w. That's going to make this a 0. 22w minus 22w is 0. 4 minus 22w is really 4w plus negative 22w. That's going to give me negative 18w. Okay, minus 24 equals this is a 0 because 22w minus 22w is 0. So I still got negative 18 over there. Okay, now I'm here. I want to isolate my negative 18w, which means I got to make negative 24 become 0. To do that, I add 24 to both sides. That's a 0. Negative 18 plus 24 is 6. So I got negative 18w equals 6. Make our coefficient here. The coefficient of w is negative 18. We got to make it a 1. So we're going to divide each side by negative 18. Okay, negative 18 times w divided by negative 18. I can cancel that. And then over here, I just reduce the fraction. Just reduce this to negative 1/3. You really don't want to put 0.3 because it's really not 0.3. If you divide 6 by negative 18, you get negative 0.3333 repeating. And all those repeating threes matter. So you just can't cut it off and say, I think it's negative 0.3. You got to actually do the work. And my suggestion is leave it as a fraction. Just reduce it. Okay? That's a good answer right there. All right, that's what we're going to work on tonight. We're going to work on solving equations that have variables on both sides. Sometimes you'll have some simplifying to do, sometimes some distributing to do, but always simplify the equation first before you start trying to solve it. Okay? All right, I'll let you get at it.